Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Lori from Rosy Salon Software, and I'm here with Lauren Zamolsky from Tippy and Staci Gaeves from Shear Thairapy Salon. So thank you both for being here this morning and joining us for this conversation.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yeah, good morning.
So,
this is exciting.
Rosy and Tippy have a new partnership, a new feature within Tippy or within Rosy that we have introduced a little while back. And Staci, you were one of the first salons that have introduced it into your business. And so we wanted to bring you on today just to have a conversation on what that looks like, why you decided to do that, and how it's been going for you, and then be able to answer some questions from anybody that may have either questions for you or for Lauren or about Rosy, and what that looks like from a salon owner's perspective. And so do you want to get started first and just tell us a little bit about your salon?
Sure. So we started our salon about 7 years ago in my house, and Rosy was the best option for us as like me and my business partner just being like a small business. It was easy, streamlined, all that. We moved into a bigger location about like a year later. We quickly like expanded. And then now it was 1,000 square feet, hired some more girls, some more staff, and then now we are in almost 4,000 square feet. And now we have even more staff. Rosy's been awesome. We, at one point, as we started to grow, we were thinking of like kind of switching over to a different software. But it's just so easy. It works so well. When you're training somebody, it's a great software. We've had really good success with it. And then as we're getting bigger and expanding and all the things, kind of making the experience for clients like even better and more streamlined. So when we like heard about the Tippy option to like add to the process of, people checking out and being able to put it just right on their credit cards and get points for it, we were like all in. So yeah, we've been doing it for about 3 months now, and it's great. We're having great success with it. So we're really happy.
I love how you said that your business has really grown. And for us at Rosy, we want to say like, well, how do we grow with you, and how can we evolve with the salon that's growing, where you started out with a very small team or in a smaller location? How do we grow with that? And I think one of those ways is through these new partnerships that we have, like Tippy. And so when we had this conversation with them, and we're thinking, for me anyways, it was like a no-brainer. Like, of course, this is going to relieve so many pain points for salon owners, as well as added benefits to the stylist, service providers, salon owners, all of those things. So this is one of those ways that I felt like we could definitely have that advantage to help a business owner like you grow into your bigger spaces and keep things, fresh and innovative.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So when you first brought this in, did you run this by your team first, or did you sign up and then say, hey, this is here and this is what we're doing? What order did you put that in?
So one of our team members had used it that was new to our salon at a different salon. I don't think it was integrated with Rosy. It was just Tippy kind of like by itself. So again, growing, and as people know, as like salon owners and all that kind of stuff, there's lots of like options of tipping. And because we were like growing so fast, constantly having money in the drawer and then having people put tips on their credit cards and then me paying people out at the end of the night became a nightmare. And then so we got rid of that, and then we added an ATM. So we said like either bring cash or you can use the ATM. Well, then the ATM is kind of inconvenient because of your bank cards, and some people don't have their bank cards on them, and everyone has a credit card and they want to use that. So we were just kind of doing all of these things and having all of these like growing pains, if you will. And then the girl that was using it at her old space, she had said like it was a great option. People love just like that one seamless transaction. And it just makes everything, you know, that much easier. And then again, everyone likes to put points on their cards, so they're already adding, you know, so much to their ticket, and then they can just add this tip on top of it and not have to worry about running to the ATM or running to the bank before they come in. And it just simplifies everyone's life. And I think that that's what everyone's looking for these days.
You bring up the good point about the service provider that you have that used Tippy previously and how it wasn't integrated. Maybe Lauren can touch base on that really quickly, because it has evolved in how it is integrated into point of sale software. And I hear that from, you know, salon owners too, of saying, you know, we've looked at it before and it was in this way, but it's like, wait, it's different now. It's not that same way anymore, and it works in a much smoother process. So Lauren, I don't know, do you want to explain that real quick? What that, you know, what happened and what changed?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Tippy first was launched and introduced, it was and still we have a standalone solution where a customer would come up to check out on the point of sale and would ring out for services in retail. And following that transaction, they would insert their card for a second swipe, or, you know, insert, tap to pay for their tip only. And with our partnership with Rosy and that integration piece, it allows the customer to have a full checkout experience. So while, you know, we may be visiting other businesses, a lot of us are used to, as consumers, that we have these really cool screens, right? We go to a coffee shop, it has our whole purchase summary. In the salon space, we really have been lacking that. So our conversations with Rosy to try to enhance the experience is, how can we bring, you know, elevate, we know that we have the tipping solution nailed down, how can we bring that together and just have that full checkout experience? So now, as we have expanded upon that integration, our screens have the full checkout. So as a customer walks up to the front, they will have the tipping screen first presented to them to choose their tip amount. And following that screen, they'll have their full purchase summary. So they'll see their services, their retail, if they purchased a gift card, and just have one single swipe, which is nice. They don't have to insert that card for an additional transaction. So it really does make it a lot smoother for the front desk. There's no additional steps for them. The customer feels safe and secure knowing that their tip's going right to their provider, and they have some clarity on what their entire visit looked like.
Staci, your clients probably have no idea of any way different. It's like, well, why wouldn't my tip automatically just be in the same swipe, right? Because it's
Right.
not that same way. So they don't know any different, which is fine. But I'm curious, do you still have the ATM in your salon?
No, we got rid of it. I mean,
you
at this
remember?
point, it's just
Oh,
not
sorry.
necessary. Yeah, I was just saying, like, there's no reason to have that. I think at this point with everyone, you're either bringing the cash or you just tip on a card. So, yeah.
Do you remember how much you were paying a month for your ATM?
It was $100 a month for the ATM if you didn't hit X amount of transactions, which we didn't, because I think what most of the issue was with people, they didn't want to use the ATM because they wanted to put everything again on their credit card. Most people, when they're doing these big tickets, that's where they want to take it, or they just don't have their bank card with them. So yeah, no ATM anymore.
That's awesome.
And you have that extra space now again back in your salon that you can use for anything, and it's not sitting there.
Yeah.
There's questions in our industry. I'm sure you guys both hear this all the time, and it's up in the air, and I think it depends on the state you're in, but passing that credit card fee to the client. Do you guys hear about that? Of like, can we do it? Can we not do it? Should we do it? We shouldn't do it. Is it a part of doing business? It's not, whichever. Like, there's a lot of opinions and thoughts on that. With Tippy, the tip is automatically added in. It's that one swipe. There is a convenience fee added on as they swipe, and it's transparent. It's right on the screen. They see it. Do you get any feedback from your clients on that?
So far, no, I haven't heard anything. And again, I think, our average ticket in this salon, our average is like $150 to $200. So we do a lot of like creative color and all that kind of stuff. So they're already spending a lot of again, a lot of money. And if we're asking for, you know, a convenience fee of like $2, $3 on a $300 charge to add a $60 tip, again, for the convenience of not having to remember to bring cash or go to the ATM or whatever, no, I haven't personally had any kickback on that.
Yeah, I think the ATM fees are probably higher than the convenience fee, right, to be able to use that.
Right. I think so. Yeah.
Have you seen, or your team seen, a increase in tip amount?
Yeah, so that was kind of like a funny thing at first because I'm still as an owner behind the chair, and there's always like this stigma with like some people tip the owner, some people don't. I think it's like definitely more of an old-fashioned thing, but some people that are like a little bit older still like go with that. So my business partner and I, at first, we were trying to figure out what numbers do we want on the tip screen. So when you have the iPad up, there's a populated number, 20, 25, 30 is what I think Tippy sets it up as. And at first we were kind of like, like we feel like we're asking people for 20, 25 or 30%. And so we switched it at first. And then I sat back like after a week and I was like, you know, her and I as business owners, this is just the two of us. And I said, this is just like a generic number for clients, and they should be able to, for the rest of the staff, we shouldn't take it away just because we're feeling like that as owners that we're asking this from some people. Because I think it's fair. I think in our industry, like 20% is saying like you did a great job, and then 25, 30 is you know, above and beyond. So I would say our average is between the 20 and the 25. So when the girls are obviously getting the 25, they're like super pumped about that, you know? And they can see it. It's all like right there on their app and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of fun and interesting to be like, oh, this person this person that. And for me, I feel like you are making more because maybe you're not necessarily weren't counting it or seeing it as much anymore, or maybe somebody was giving you $20 as opposed to that $22 for the 20%. So that like little extra couple dollars, like, you know, over time is going to add up. So I think overall, yes, people are seeing more of an increase in their tips for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Lauren,
Awesome.
you guys have seen some actual statistics from an average salon. Do you want to share those?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and it's always really exciting to hear that, you know, just from an owner and stylist perspective that you guys are earning, you know, we see the numbers rolling in, but it is exciting to hear that you can reflect on that in your app and get excited about it. And we do see that salons, no matter what your previous tipping method was prior to Tippy, we see an increase of tip income, and it can be upwards up to 35%. It really just kind of depends, again, too, you know, what your previous tip method was, but we do see an increase. And on average, Tippy salons are earning, like you said, Staci, between around that 20 to 25% tip to service average, which is really exciting. And I don't know, Staci, if you find this to be part of it, but we hear a lot that the clients tend to tip more knowing that you know who the tip came from. I remember when I was in the salon and behind the chair, a lot of times, and that was years ago, they would tend to bring cash then. And it would be that they would check out at the front desk, they would get the cash back when we used to do that. Yep. And they'd walk over and want to interrupt me with the next client and hand me that tip to make sure that I knew. And a lot of times we're finding with credit card tipping or, you know, with the ATM, they tend to tip less because they're not sure if their, you know, tip is really going to that service provider. So we hear a lot that clients will tip more because they know that you know. Do you guys find that happening in your salon?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like agree with that. And then, like I said, the ease of just saying 20% and not having to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, again, we're all busy. We're all running out. You've been at the salon for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. You're trying to get out of there. And the ease of just being able to push like 20, 25, 30 and not even have to think about it. Again, I mean, it's great.
That's awesome. Do you guys find, because we have our instant tip program, all of our tips have that instant access. Do you find that a lot, your staff, maybe half is using the instant access, or some transferring externally to their bank account? Like what's their financial, have you heard about, any changes in their financial habits, whether they've been able to save more, or they like to be able, on a Saturday, leave the salon and be able to go spend if they have somewhere they're going that evening?
Yeah, so I would say it's probably half and half. I'm personally saving it as like a little account, and I'll like take my girls to get ice cream or get Chick-fil-A, and it's like a cute little, like extra little like savings account. And people do say that. They're like, I'm kind of saving it, for this. And it's you're accounting for something now. You're actually like seeing the numbers. I think when we all kind of get cash, you like see it for a minute and you're like, oh, okay, I made $100 today, but then the $100 kind of comes and goes. Like when you can see it and you can account for it, there's just like something different about that. And yeah, you tend to like want to save it or things like that. So I would say it's probably about 50% of the girls are doing the bank account versus the what did you call it?
Instant access, or yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not immediate gratification.
Yeah.
We all want things yesterday, not today.
Yeah. It's always fun. You get like that little text like, ding, you got paid. And you're like, yay.
That's always exciting.
Yeah.
So it's almost time for you to get paid too, Staci, as the salon owner, because there is a rebate program. So our first early users of Tippy are just starting to get their rebate program now, because that rebate program is available after the 3rd month. And so you're about to get your first one. So really right now you're like, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, right? But you will be surprised when you get that money back to you and how much you're getting back. Not only are you saving the money, the $1,200 a year by kicking out that ATM, now you're getting a rebate back on the tips that you're processing. So I'm going to let Lauren explain that a little bit more, because you haven't even actually seen it yet.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it is really exciting. So, I mean, as we talk to business owners on a daily basis, and we're trying to figure out ways, right, to ensure that we're getting the most bang for our buck and save where we can. And one of the benefits with Tippy is that we're able to provide a rebate back to the salon owner for all of the processing of the tips and that convenience fee. So as we know, when we run a credit card, there's a processing fee that that Rosy Pay applies. So when those tips are run through your processor, we calculate at the end of every month that on the tip and the Tippy convenience fee that we give 2% back into your bank account. So on a daily basis, you guys are processing tips. 2 days later, we go in and draw for those funds that we pay out. And then at the end of the month, we settle up with you to be able to give those funds back. And on average, we are seeing that business owners are actually getting around 190, it's like a little bit less than $200 a month back on average. Again, that really depends on, how much you guys are processing in tip amounts. But oh yeah, and Lori has a little example here just to kind of give you guys an idea. So if you're a salon on a monthly basis that would process in service revenue, either 100,000, 75,000, or $50,000. Some examples here: if you're doing a 20% tip to service average each month, that means that you could be on a monthly basis getting a 2% rebate back of either $400, $300, $200 monthly, which can add up over a year's time frame to be in the thousands of dollars, which could be, those funds could be allocated toward all kinds of different things. Maybe an educational class that you have been looking to treat the team to. It could be that's going towards your software subscription, or anything that you wanted to give back to your team, or just kind of keep those monies in your salon's bank account too.
Yeah,
So we're excited for you to get that back I think that's going to be this upcoming November. And that usually happens within the first few days of the month. So it's exciting to see that roll into the bank account.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah.
It'll be right on for holiday. A little bonus for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you see using this, like thinking about your own area, could you see using Tippy because your service providers are finding that they're earning a little bit more, they're able to track that a little bit better, if the tips are increased a little bit more, do you see this in two ways? One, that it would be more of a retention tactic or tool or resource to be able to help keep your team with your salon instead of like moving around, or also using it as a recruiting tool to find new service providers into your business?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think again, Amanda and my biggest thing is kind of always like moving with the times, you know? So just kind of keeping up to date with education, with, you know, the latest hairstyles, product knowledge, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think software systems and how we're doing software and collecting money and people getting paid is huge, because everyone wants to get paid and they want, you know, their money. So I think it's really important to have like good things in place for them for sure. So I think absolutely.
Yeah. Yesterday, I actually heard somebody say, we spend hours and hours and hours and tons of money on balayage classes and cutting classes, but it's time to like put some of that time into investing into your business and the tools and resources that you have to grow and advance your business. Because if you're not growing it, you're stagnant or falling behind. So I think that hopefully what we're able to provide with Tippy and some new resources and ways for you guys to keep your business at the forefront for both you as a business owner and your team is really important to us. So we hope that we see that happening for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Lauren, do you have any other questions for her, or Staci, do you have anything else that you just want to share with everybody?
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's going great. We're really happy. I'm happy that you guys teamed up together. It's a great team. It's like I said, it's very seamless, and yeah, we're really happy with it. So.
Well, thanks so much, Staci. We appreciate you choosing Tippy and Rosy, and we love hearing, you know, the feedback that it's helped you in your business. Having worked in the salon previously before working at Tippy, it's always great to hear that business owners and stylists are having success like we saw. So we appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, Elisa, do we have any questions from anybody?
No, we haven't had any questions come in on this session.
Okay. Well, we do have.
We do have a hand up though. Hold on. We do have a hand up. Let me see if I can unmute this participant and maybe she has a question. She put her hand up, so I'm unmuting you now, Lori.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of questions verbally. Okay, Lori, you got a question?
Yes, sorry, I didn't see somewhere to put in a question, so I raised my hand. With the Rosy system, you were saying that, or the Tippy combined, that when you're doing a checkout, that you would just use one system. My understanding was that we use the Rosy point of sale, like credit card swiper, and then we have a tablet for the Tippy that it goes over to. Is that correct?
Yep.
That is correct. So you'll have them both. Sorry, Lauren, you can help share or share this with me. But you do have the Tippy iPad kiosk as well as your Rosy Pay swiper or terminal that you'll have. But that whole transaction does process through your Rosy Pay swiper. The front-facing kiosk that you have from Tippy just showed that's for your client-facing. So they'll be able to see the transaction total. They'll be able to add their tip on there, and then they swipe through the terminal swiper.
Okay, yeah, I'm opening a new blow dry bar, and I was trying to make it where we could almost just take a tablet to somebody. Is that something y'all are looking at in the future, about making it on like one system so that we can just kind of hand it to somebody and they don't have to go to a desk? Just a thought.
Good question. I think that we actually have had some conversations around that. early in a conversation stage of that, and we're always looking for ways to make it easier and be able to adapt to all different business types and models. And I know there's a lot of salons that are working without a front desk or working just on a concierge type of style. So it is definitely something that we talk about and try to think about ways to continue to be that way. But right now, we either have the mobile swipers, so you could plug it into an iPad, which could travel along with you, would be an option for right now.
Okay. Yeah, my understanding was that the tablet had to stay by our point of sale, because our point of sale, we're going to be able to move, you know, to the client. So we could just take the tablet with it, I think.
Yeah, you can move that, right, Lauren? They can move that around with them.
Yeah, so it just so our Tippy screen, because like you mentioned, you would check out using Rosy Pay. So if that's able to be accessible mobily, the Tippy screen itself does need to be plugged in to stay charged, but you could essentially pick it up if you needed to, because it is connected via Wi-Fi, and our screens are simply just presenting that whole checkout summary for the customers. So we could definitely make something happen for you to be able to carry that around if need be.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Congrats on your business.
Yeah, thanks. We open next week, so.
All right. Let the countdown begin.
All right, thanks, Lori. We also had Studio Trio had their hand up for a moment, but have put it down. So I don't know if you still had a question. I could unmute you. Yes, Studio Trio. Oops, you're self-muted. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Studio Trio has a question.
Hi, so I haven't used Tippy yet, but I was wondering, can you split a tip? Like for an assistant plus a stylist?
Say that again, I'm so sorry.
Can you split a tip or put two people on one ticket for the tip? Such as two stylists that work on somebody or an assistant and a stylist?
Yes, good question, and absolutely. Yes, so if there's multiple service providers that helped a customer that day, you can absolutely add more than one. Or as you mentioned, a salon assistant that might have shampooed a client, they can absolutely be added to receive a tip.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Good question.
Okay, great questions. Lauren, this is for you. Does Tippy have a base holder?
Base holder, like a stand that it comes in? I'm thinking yes, it does. It does come with a stand so that it is able to be situated at the front desk securely.
Perfect. Hopefully that answers that question. I do believe that was the genesis of that question.
Yeah.
All right. Great questions. No others have come in at this time.
Okay. So we do have with Rosy and Tippy together, you do get your first 12 months of Tippy for free when you're using Rosy Pay. So I'm going to share this QR code again if anybody's interested and wants to go ahead and scan the QR code here. You can get connected and you can learn if you have any more questions. We can answer any questions that you may have or get connected with somebody from either Rosy or Tippy to ask your questions, explore what this looks like, or to get started. So Staci, thank you so much for being here with us today and answering all these questions and sharing your experience. And Lauren, thank you so much for being on and helping with everything and for our great partnership.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can we do one more question?
Yeah.
All right. Another question came in. Please reiterate the steps to Tippy from the whole point of sale. So just kind of summarize again, if we would, the steps.
Yeah, so the customer the front desk and customer experience. So essentially, if you're already using Rosy and Rosy Pay, not a whole lot really changes from a front desk experience. So they would have on the checkout screen a little Tippy button. You'll have the little icon there that will prompt our iPad. So essentially, Tippy provides a way for you to show the full checkout experience. and that we also will disperse those funds instantly to the staff. So the front desk would prompt the Tippy screen. Your client would see some suggested tip options based off of what was entered for the service ticket. And if, to someone else's question, if there were multiple people that were on that ticket, they'll all be available for leaving a tip. They'll select their tip options, and then at the end, they'll have a full purchase summary. So on the screen, the iPad will show their services, their retail, if they purchased any gift cards, and their tips. And then once they've reviewed that, it'll prompt back to the front desk person to go ahead and just complete that transaction by accepting their payment on the Rosy Pay terminal for one single swipe. And then following that transaction, the service provider will have the mobile app, the Tippy mobile app on their phone, so that they'll see the tip that was just received, and it'll instantly be available for them to spend, or they can also save those funds as well. Hopefully that helped to answer that question.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions. Sorry, we can proceed to wrap up. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, that's it. Thanks guys so much, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, you
Thanks,
too.
everybody. Thanks for your time.